In a world of many competitive video games, there are a bunch of options to choose from. In this video, we're going to talk about the games that I believe are the hardest to rank up in. Now, quick disclaimer, if you see a game on here that you don't agree with or you don't see your favorite game on here, chances are I just didn't put enough time into it to put it onto this list, as we are talking about competitive, aka ranked. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting things off with arguably what I consider is the easiest game to rank up in is Fortnite. Now put your pitchforks down. I understand that, oh yeah, you got to know how to build, you have to know piece control, you have to know right hand peek, all this yibber yabber. But in Fortnite, to rank up, all you really need is placement, which is why I say arguably this is the easiest game to rank up in. You can literally drive around in a car all game and you don't have to engage in any type of PvP. As long as you're placing at least top 10, then you are guaranteed some sort of rank up from where you're sitting. Now, is this the funnest way to play the game? Absolutely not. And as somebody who has almost hit champion back in the day when building was at its peak and it actually meant something, I'll be the first one to tell you, this game is not that hard anymore. Every patch and every season, there's always some sort of OP item and new meta to follow, and as long as you're following that, it's really not that difficult to adapt. Yeah, you need to make sure your edits are on point, you need to make sure that you know how to defend yourself, you need to have good aim. But at the end of the day, you don't even have to engage with the players in that match. You pick a decent landing spot and you plan your route accordingly. You get decent loot, you get a car, and then all you do is just wait. You're not going to rank up in Fortnite if you're trying to just drop 20 to 30 kills a game. That's just not going to happen anymore. The easiest way getting kills is just third partying now, and it's just so aggravating to play like that, but it's just how you rank up in this game. Now, I understand there are a lot of really good and talented players at this game, but the reality is, y'all game is not that hard to rank up in. It's really not. Now, if they change this so that way you actually have to get eliminations rather than placement in order to rank up, then I would say this game does deserve to be higher on the list. But due to that solely, I will say this is the easiest game to rank up in. The next hardest game I believe that is really hard to rank up in, that requires a lot of mechanical skill, and I'd say purely mechanical skill, it's Rocket League.
Justin keeps it alive. Turner wasn't there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin is there for the shot. Justin! This is Rocket League.
Anyone can be decent at Rocket League. Anybody can just flip over their car and just make the easiest shot of their life. It doesn't really take a brain to do that. Anybody can get lucky and boost off of a wall and just bounce the ball into the net. But when it comes to ranking up and actually playing at a high level in this game, you will quickly realize and get humbled by the motherfuckers who put time into this game. Now, as somebody who peaked Diamond when I used to play Rocket League back in the PlayStation days, I will be the first one to tell you that this is not an easy game to play at a high level on. Knowing where to position at all times when you're playing duos, or if you're a solos player, knowing when to challenge and when to commit and not commit to a play, that in itself takes a long time to learn. On top of that, just being very disciplined and knowing when to go for an air dribble compared to just waiting out the opponent to make a mistake first. This game is not just about soccer. There are so many in-depth mechanics that go into Rocket League and it gets wild. Learning boost management, learning how to dribble, learning how to control the ball on top of your car, learning how to flip reset, which is something that I never put the time into getting good at. There are a lot of tiny and micro optimizations that must go into your play every single time when playing this game at a high level. And a simple boost miscalculation can cost you a goal, which can end you up in overtime, to which you throwing the game. There is a reason why there is a whole separate community in Rocket League dedicated to what they call freestyling, which is them basically just swagging in pubs or ranked and just hitting the most creative, crazy shots you didn't even think were possible. The skill ceiling for Rocket League is so high, don't get it twisted just because you're driving a little car, but that's what's going at the number 4 spot. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I have 2 games and I really couldn't decide which one to put on this spot, so I'm just going to put them both here, as they are very similar and very different at the same time. That's going to be Counter-Strike 2 and Valorant. In Valorant, you need to keep track of ultimates, you need to keep track of certain abilities, Sova darts, where is Cypher going to places, tripwires, etc. Learning who's the flanker this game, learning who's the one that's walking up mid alone, while also being mechanically good. You need to have good aim in this game. One bad comm in high elo in that eco round and you will be down in Plat 3 again after trying to get back to Ascendant. You need to know what each and every role in this game does and what they're good at and how they will be utilized in every match. From learning lineups to learning certain sight lines to small things like learning where is Killjoy most likely going to place her ult. There are a lot of different things to learn in Valorant when it comes to the micro and macro decisions in this game, which is why I say that when it comes to strategy, this game notoriously takes it over Counter-Strike. Now, Counter-Strike is not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. There are no get-out-of-jail-free cards like in Valorant. If you position incorrectly, you will get punished. There are no jet dashes, there are no Reyna dismisses, there are no raise jumps, none of that. You want to smoke mid? You need to smoke it yourself. There is no such thing as a controller in this game. If you can't strafe at the bare minimum, you will not even see the light of day in high elo in this game. Crosshair placement is the most vital thing when taking an on or an off angle in this game due to, one, lack of variables, and more mechanical skill required. Trust me, you'll know when you take a bad fight because you'll get one tap before you even see them coming out of the corner. Counter-Strike is far more intensive than Valorant when it comes to pure gun skill. Aim trainers, aim routines, anything in that sort is going to help you by a long shot compared to somebody who does not do any aim training in this game. Coming in at the number 3 spot, I have 2 games on here because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to put, and they're in the same genre. That is going to be Overwatch 2 and Marvel Rivals. Now, unlike Counter-Strike or Valorant, where if you're just good enough and you're a literal god, you can just 1v9 carry every game and carry your team, in these games, oh no, you wish you can do that. Whether you are a tank player, a DPS player, or a support player, it simply does not matter because at the end of the day, you need teamwork. And let's be real here, hero shooters are notoriously known for people wanting to ego and just autolog DPS and not want to support the team in any sort of way. There are multiple variables that will hold you back from climbing at your true peak in these games, but it's not impossible. So what mechanics are needed to climb at a high rank in these games? For one, positioning. You need to position yourself at the right place at the right time and keep yourself alive if you are a support player. If you are a DPS player, you need to get in their backline and assassinate their supports before their ultimates come up and they can make their push. And if you're a tank player, you need to learn how to create space for your team. You need to trust your supports that they are going to keep you alive, and you need to do your job and get in their face. Now, this all sounds easy on paper, but when it comes to both of these games, you need to learn what every single character in the game does, you need to know what their ults do, and you need to have a good grasp of what their playstyle specializes in. When the enemy team picks a counter pick, you need to know how to deal with it. You need to keep track of ultimates and give your teams the right comms in order to make that push. You need to learn how to carry momentum after winning a team fight and keep making the enemy team stagger, while at the same time keeping your team mentally sane after losing a team fight, because people are so quick to give up in these games. There are a lot of different variables and things that you need to keep track of in a hero shooter, which can seem very intimidating to somebody who isn't familiar with these types of games. And that is why I'm putting these two at the number 2 spot. Coming in at the number 1 spot, it is the most complex, complicated game that you can get into today. And for those that do take it serious, I'm very sorry for your mental state. That is none other than League of Legends.
Immediately are going to kick things off by going in on Cuz, taking away the Frost Armor passive. Lockdown from Carrier is there. TP in from Doran as well. Ulti's going across the board. BDD caught off the side. A good flash to take him out, and Guma has to be careful, but he's so damn fast. Owner, we got up BDD. He goes gold in an extra 2.5 seconds to consider what went wrong as T1 looks set to end it all.
They're going to finish the job. It is Doran and Peter left alone in the mid lane, and T1 will ace them.
League of Legends can be broken down into 3 different categories, from game knowledge to mechanics and your social/mindset. When it comes to game knowledge, you need to know map awareness, minion management, objective control, warding, knowing how to teamfight and position yourself accordingly with whatever champion you're using. On top of that, you need to know what every single champion in the game does. Oh, and there's 172 champs, by the way. Adapting your items, runes, masteries to that specific match because every single game is going to be different compared to your last. Having decent mechanics like skill shot accuracy, sidestep, juking, timing of abilities and spells, last hitting. Oh, and don't think you won't tilt in this game because I promise you will. You will lose one game with your pre-made and think that you can't end on a loss, and you'll follow up with 5 more losses later. This game is truly unique because you can literally lose the game and champion select while you guys are picking your champs before the game even starts. If the enemy team has a better composition later on and you guys can't end the game quick enough before they get to their power spike, yeah, you might as well just wrap it up. League is a mental game. When there are so many different variables and things that can change the outcome of a game that are outside of your control, you need to learn how to stay mentally sane. You need to learn how to control your emotions. you need to learn how to perform well under pressure and remain patient and wait until the enemy team makes a mistake, to which the higher you go up, the less mistakes will be made. This is the one game where I can personally say that you can tell the difference between someone who is platinum to someone who is grandmaster. It is night and day. Not saying you can't tell the difference in other games, but in this game, it truly is unique because you will notice people's game knowledge shine later on in the mid to late game, seeing how they carry momentum and keep making the enemy team stagger for objective control, seeing where they prioritize their warding when setting up for the next team fight, seeing how they keep track of the enemy's summoner spells so they know when they have an advantage over the other, seeing how quick they rotate after getting a pick, to seeing how good their back timings are as well when things don't go their way and they need to reset quick. There is a reason why this is the #1 esport in the world. It is the hardest and the most complex. I'm not just being biased here. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and give it a shot. Let's see how far you get. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you watched the entire thing, thank you so much. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel as it really helps out. I had so much fun making this video for you guys. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Have a great rest of your day.